Well, howdy, folks. It's me, Cassius Mishima, and Playful at 7:30 p.m. CST, the 1st of August of 2021. How are you, Playful?
Doing pretty good. Yourself?
I'm okay, and thank you very much for asking. We are here at the bottom of the ocean. The bottom of the ocean, looking out this wonderful window. It's.
Hey,
Uh oh.
I
Oh no, I just got a noise in. I'm so sorry, folks, my noise got through. The stream mess up. Well, you have to forgive that. I had my Second Life sound on by incident. But anyway, if you imagine we're at the bottom of the sea, what kind of stuff would you think that you might witness here? Playful, maybe some underwater cities, or maybe some mermaids. Now, you have some opinions about The Little Mermaid. What are they?
I loved that movie when I was a kid. Not as much as a lot of others, but I definitely did enjoy watching that movie.
Any favorite parts that you could mention?
Probably the time that she got into huge trouble by Sebastian for missing a party of her dad's. Oops.
I think my favorite part is when they're cooking the meal and you see all the fish and like they're gonna cook the fish. I love that part because it's like so horrible. It's like, oh no, what are they doing? Even though
I liked the whole dinner in itself too because Ariel picked a fork off the table, which is fine, but instead of eating with it, combed her hair with it.
oh, that's lovely. I forgot about that little detail.
That was funny.
It is great. So, mermaids. Let's talk a little bit about them. The Little Mermaid is vaguely based on several things, but mermaids themselves, they've come from all different cultures. They come from Asia, Europe, Africa. But usually, they're top half woman, bottom half fish. Whatever fish you can imagine, very pretty scales, lovely tails, lots of whipping motions, bikini made out of clam shells. You know what I'm talking about. That's the most iconic thing I can think of. And I imagine a mermaid sitting atop a rock in the midst of the ocean, maybe on a bay or a gouging reef, and just sitting there looking off forlorn, perhaps, into the distance. And this is what comes into play next, is the infamous siren. So, do you know what a siren is, Playful?
So it's a mermaid, a female mermaid? No, not really. I have heard that term before, though.
So, there are many different cultural uses of the term siren. In the case that I'm speaking about, a siren is a kind of mermaid in a way. It's a creature of the sea that has the goal of luring in ships, travelers, specifically men for the most part, to their doom. They do so with their voice. In fact, I think the siren is one of my favorite sea monsters. I think it's a monster. You could call it a monster. Mostly because I value very greatly the intoxication and the rapture you can create just by speaking. And among that is one of the many and little known things that I do with this show with you. It is still so young and so unforaged. But every time we do this, we make it a little bit closer to affiliateship or whatever's beyond that. And sirens, they have that special power. They can make people follow them to their dooms with just their voice.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that before. I've heard of seamen going out to the ocean and then they hear this woman all of a sudden singing and it's like they're hypnotized.
Yes, it is the unfortunate nature of these creatures then perhaps it's not unfortunate for them because they do whatever they do with the fallen that have followed them to their fate. But as far as what happens with the process, I'm pretty sure the process is typical luring someone and like sort of stealing their soul when you do it, that sort of thing. Very typical evil monster thing to do. But the siren is so interesting because it plays on the idea of beauty, and in many different cultures the siren is actually like an old hag who is using an illusion, the illusion of a desirable person, let's say a young woman, or maybe in the case of a female, they're trying to lure in a very swarthy man. I'm not sure how much that one tracks because I don't see that one very often. Do you? It's
Not really, but I have definitely heard of that happening a lot.
it is less known, I would say, and maybe there are some male sirens out there. I consider myself a male siren, to be honest with you, but that's a different subject. And
Completely.
completely. And from what I know, this allure that they possess over people and over the minds of those who maybe are desperate to see the attention of a lovely companion, they fall victim. And they are inevitably fated to meet some unfortunate fate. And there is, however, an upside to all of this. Atlantis. I'm sure many of you have heard about it. In a channel that shall not be named, there is an episode about Atlantis that is discussed by two young boys. Atlantis is the city under the water. The hubris of the Atlanteans brought them there. And if you had to guess what Atlantis looked like, what would you say? Would you say like sort of pitchfork building castles or reefy groves? You know what I mean?
I'm not sure what I would really say, but
Yeah. Go ahead.
sorry, you'll have to excuse me. I got a noisy background because the train just started.
I'm so sorry about
But
that.
I'm not really sure what I would kind of say. I mean, it's awesome. It's definitely magical and all that.
There is an element of unnatural beauty to it because under the sea, I almost started singing. When you are at the bottom of the ocean and the light bleaches through the top, the shallows above, I think that there's a spark that ignites. There's a special talent that the sea has for illuminating in the best ways. And if you are there under the ocean, you could probably see so many fish, so many creatures and beings, and you would spend your days just gliding around, floating. It would be a great workout being a That's why mermaids and mermen are so buff. They're just constantly swimming, constantly, always in the best physical condition. And all they eat is fish and kelp. They get all their nutrition in one spot. Man, they have a good workout routine. You know what I mean? They have it figured out.
Yes, they do.
And there's plenty of places I can think of. We actually did a story about this a few weeks ago of the underwater greenhouses. Do you remember them?
Vaguely, yes.
The underwater greenhouses that are being built right now are actually capable of sustaining a small patch of varied greens. Strawberries are among them. Underwater strawberries, Playful. I wonder if they taste
Wow.
different. I wonder if they taste different,
I wouldn't know, obviously. That would
Well,
be cool if they did.
Can you imagine if the low pressure of gravity makes them somehow smaller or taste stranger? You could get a whole new kind of fruit doing that sort of thing. But what I will say is, I imagine that some sort of undersea colony has all sorts of greenhouses floating up from it that you can just climb up maybe a plastic ladder and pick some fruits. Atlantis. I think one day, if we do have a ocean floor city, Do you think it will be named Atlantis just for the sake of having something maybe habitually named, sort of a lexicon that can't be helped but to name something the same thing? Do you think that'll happen?
No idea, but that would be cool.
Do you think we'll see Atlantis?
Maybe.
I think there's a chance. If we get these underwater food things figured out, then, I mean, underwater dome like the one we're looking at now, that's not too far away. And especially if we consider that there are already people who wear mermaid tails. I'm sure you've seen some of them.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know about the mechanized mermaid tails?
Mm-hmm.
So these tails, I'll tell you folks, they have a motor in them that is, I believe, propelled partially by human dynamic motion, which is, the pelvic and hip motions and the ab movements. But also it is propelled by another mean. I think it might be battery operated in some way. I don't know the exacts, but it is powered. And when you move in a specific way, the tail whips as if you are a dolphin gracefully moving amidst the waves. And I happen to think that that's a fantastic thing. I've thought about being a mermaid. A merman, mind you. A demi-mer. I'm not sure how you say demi-guy is a mermaid. But I think I'd make an okay mermaid. I'd want to get my mermaid bod a little more prepared, but... Because, you got to have a good mermaid bod.
But
Certainly being a mermaid would give you a good mermaid bod, too. But that's neither here nor there. I think that certainly if I was able to live with like a Star Wars rebreather on and float along the ocean blue, and I'm afraid of sharks, of course. I'm afraid of sharks. I'm afraid of large ocean monsters and stuff. But for the most part, there's not a lot in the ocean that will come after you, if you really think about it. I mean, sharks are horribly misunderstood creatures that rarely even attack anybody. And for the most part, the stuff you really need to worry about is closer to the shallows and the reefs. Like urchins. Have you ever seen a sea urchin? Hello, Ella.
I have not.
Welcome to the stream.
Ella.
We're talking mermaids. Ella, if you were a mermaid, what color would your scales be? What color would your what color shells would you use in your mermaid bikini? That's a good question too. And I think I would wear a mermaid bikini, or I don't know, maybe I would. It's kind of hard for me to tell. But what I can say very well is that you are mostly safe under the water. There are not many things that would come for you as a human moving around. You're too big for most things to be interested. Did you know that hammerhead sharks are actually very shy? Did you know that, Playful?
I didn't know.
Emerald green scales, black shell bra. Well, that's a very concise answer. You know what I mean? She knows.
There.
Oh, man. What kind of shells would you have? If you
I
don't.
know. But getting back to the shark thing for like just a second.
Sure.
Sharks are the most of your predator, obviously.
Sure.
But the truth is, they are gentle giants. You leave them alone, they will leave you alone.
Not only that, but they'll actually come to you asking for aid if they're covered in fishing net or fishing line, or if they have something stuck in them. They will wander up to you and ask you to help them. They'll like bump you and plea in the way they can. And it is a mermaid's duty to assist the wildlife. And Ella, I'm sure you know this, but if you see an injured animal under the sea, you help them as a mermaid. You help them. And not only this, that's what they say about bees, but they still end up attacking regardless. Well, if you make the bees angry, I mean, I'm not sure what you expect. They're just defending themselves. It sounds
Leave
like
them alone, they will leave you alone.
It's true. Or find yourself a beekeeper suit. Then you'll be fine. Apiary is a art.
That too.
You stay away from the bees. No, the bees love you. The bees are the kindest creatures in the world. They're so busy, they don't have time to think. They only have time to make more honey. To please the queen. Oh, to be a bee. To be a bee in a hive with a queen that's a big butt. A man can dream, can't they? But yes, there are multiple things that mermaids, of course, do. They assist in the mermaid duties of keeping the Atlantis clean of debris and rubbish. Because, you know, mermaids are eco-friendly. They clean up the trash in the sea. And not only that, but a mermaid is responsible for defending Atlantis from the invasion of submarines. I mean, I don't know what you can do, though. I mean, a submarine is made out of metal. You got like a trident. I'm not sure what you can do.
Yeah. Although, really, mermaids are not the only people responsible for cleaning up the ocean and everything.
It's true.
We, as humans, need to do that too. Not litter.
It's true. Not only that, but we need those barnacles that can suck up the microplastics. Oh, man.
Strange, but cool.
You've heard about that, haven't you?
I don't think so.
I was speaking about it at one point on one of the cast talks, which I don't like to mention in this stream. But barnacles actually have the ability to filter microplastics from the ocean. They do so at a slightly slow rate. They still are capable of it. I think that if you're a mermaid, you have a lot of time on your hands to explore. And certainly finding barnacles. They always use the word barnacle as a curse word in SpongeBob. It is a good curse, though. You know, barnacles.
Yeah, I've heard Mr. Krabs say that all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
The mermaids in the SpongeBob movie, they're all very attractive. They're all very, like, humanoid, very attractive. You know, I think that underwater hair, that can be cute, can it? Having your hair flowing like it's in the wind, but it's underwater. I don't know if it would look good on...
Cool.
I'm not sure. My hair's pretty wavy, pretty straight as well. I have very inconsistent hair. My sister's hair is even more inconsistent, but I have a great and tremendous desire to have beautiful long hair, especially on the front. And mermaids have lovely hair. They have sort of a Fabio style of long, luscious blonde or brunette or black hair. Okay.
It's true, they do.
Ella, if you saw Fabio, okay, this isn't the sexiest thing ever. Okay, so let me make this sexier. Okay, Fabio is bathing on the rocks. He has his stomach facing up. He has his hair back. It's flowing in the wind. You see Fabio on the rocks, Ella. Fabio is looking at you, and he begins to sing to you. I'm not going to reproduce what the sound would be like. Would you be lured by Fabio to your demise, following him, and then stepping on a sea urchin? That's how he'll get you. Fabio is unattractive to you, but what if he was like what if he was attractive though? Would you be beguiled by his voice? What if he had a very attractive voice? Very good singing. Would you step on a sea urchin by mistake and get sea urchin poisoning? Because that's how they get you. Oh gosh, sea urchins look so nasty. Maybe. That's all I'm looking for is a maybe. I think we could all be enthralled by the voice of a fabulous man. Maybe not Fabio, but maybe Fabio when he was like in his 20s. And he had a great singing voice. And, I mean, if you see a person, even if it's a person in a mermaid suit, that's still pretty interesting seeing like a mermaid person laying in the rocks going like, oh, you know what I mean? I said I wouldn't do it, but I did it. I said I wouldn't do it. With an illustrious voice. And you have to think that if that mermaid person exists, then they're up to mischief, aren't they? Because mermaids, they're up there with fairies as far as mischief goes. You think that like they're trying to lure people into the sea with them so they can grab them. They're trying to use seaweed to, I don't know, do something mischievous with it. But also, mermaids, like Aquaman, can call aid from the sea. So, when you think of something that comes to aid a mermaid, you might think of like a great white or a seahorse. I can imagine a mermaid riding a seahorse. They wouldn't need to, right? Because they're obviously fast enough already. But maybe there's like racing seahorses under the water. You know what I mean?
Heard of dolphins also coming to the mermaid aid as well.
Dolphins. That's right. I didn't think of that. A dolphin and a mermaid are probably pretty good friends. Or a sea turtle. They could like
Yeah.
jump in the way of like of a trident coming at them, and hit their shell and bounce off, because they're awesome, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about the idea of, you guys ever heard of a beluga whale imitating a man talking? No, I've never heard of that. If you link it
I
though,
have not either.
if you link it, I think I'll be able to play it. That'd be fun for a window too. Is it loud? If it's too loud, I won't be able to. But I'm more than happy to play it. I have to mute my YouTube first. But yes, it is a lovely thing to imagine a singing type video. It's like a sing. It's up to you. Oh no, thank you. But it does sound great. It sounds very good. So the main thing that I would be thinking about is, what kind of power intellectually do you have to stir up the hearts of sea creatures? And do you have the ability to summon, like, sea slugs? You know, a sea slug to, I don't know, do something for you. I want to see a sea slug, and I want to see it battle like an eel. Because you... I'm so stupid. Never mind.
It's not stupid, Cass.
It is, no, but the feelings I have are stupid is all it is.
Oh.
Eels are pretty scary, but they're also very friendly. If you find an eel, they're usually just looking for food, and they don't usually have any interest in things bigger than them. But if a sea slug and an eel were ever fighting, it would have to be an electric eel, because you can't electrocute a slug, especially not underwater. They don't care. But if I had to choose what animal I would be, man, I'd be an octopus. An octopus, that would be a great summon for a mermaid. Can you imagine me with 8 arms?
Not really, but that would still be cool anyway.
I could hold up 8 microphones and speak into all of them at once. That'd be 8D ASMR.
Yep.
8D. I can only imagine. But yeah, that's a crazy world. A crazy idea for a crazy world. So, if you had to be an underwater creature, what would you be, Playful? I know I said octopus. What strikes your fancy?
I don't know what the heck I would be.
I mean,
No idea at all.
there's so much to choose from.
Yeah, exactly.
You have like sharks, which I know someone who would have been a shark. Honestly, he was very interested in great whites, especially, and the megalodon, which I still scarcely believe even existed, but apparently it did. Apparently it actually existed at some point. I think I'm also very interested in krakens, the giant octopus. That's scary though. Krakens are scary. If you can,
Yeah, for sure.
they are. I like to think of being like a big old octopus that wanders around and helps things, like it frees animals from bottles, from the bottle holders. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The Gatorade bottle holders, the plastic ones, and like
Yeah.
inks in the face of fishermen and divers. Oh man, I'd give them such an inking. I'd ink just everywhere, and there'd be so much ink that they wouldn't know where to go, and they'd be blinded. And then I would just jet away.
The ink wouldn't really put a damper on the divers though, because if they're wearing a mask, technically they can still see
So,
when they take it off.
the beauty of the ink is it actually spreads out across the water. It creates a cloud, an underwater cloud. It wouldn't get their eyes, which is good. I don't want to blind them. I just want to disorient them.
Oh yeah.
Because the ink would go everywhere. But so mermaids have a alacrity to them and agility. They have this ability to swim in ways that humans can only imagine. And when they swim, they do it fast, like a dolphin. We've talked about dolphins and mermaids getting along already, but if you think about it, dolphins and mermaids are actually pretty darn close. I don't think that mermaids have blowholes. I don't think they do, but...
That's weird.
It's weird, yeah. I've never thought about that before. It'd be on like their back, just behind their neck or something, on them between their shoulders. A mermaid blowhole. I don't like that. But yeah, I imagine that mermaids can communicate with all sorts of animals, just like not maybe telepathically. Maybe they make a stupid noise. They make like a ooh, that kind of thing. They make that noise. And mermaids are always proficient with throwing weapons. They can always throw tridents. Do you think mermaids are archers too? I guess being an archer underwater doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense underwater, but maybe if they come up looking for fish.
Sure. No, they're like spearmen, spear fishermen. You know, they love their tridents, their spears, their pokers, harpoons. That's their thing. But if you ever encounter a mermaid on land, there's nothing they can do. they're at your mercy. A mermaid on land is completely flat-footed in all circumstances. Unless they're in a pool, then they can win almost any fight. But if they're out of the water, they're literally a fish out of water, and they're done. They're done so. Okay, Ella, I've got another question for you. If you were an undersea creature, what would you be? Anything in the great blue. You can even choose like an anglerfish, which are pretty creepy, but they're actually smaller than you think they are. Yeah, let it spool around in your brain for a little while. Give it a real good thought. And on that note, what do you think Aries would be? I'm curious. So, a mantis shrimp. That's very cute. A mantis shrimp. I do like your specificity as well. I think that mantis shrimps, they're lovely. Very underrated. I don't even like shrimp. I wouldn't eat a shrimp either. Do you eat shrimp, Playful?
Yep. Very point blankly, but yeah,
No,
I eat shrimp.
your comedic foiling is one of my favorite things about our conversations. Only because they're rainbowy and have a very powerful snap. I believe you. But yeah, there's a great thing. Oh, lobsters. You know, I think about lobsters. I think like a merman or a mermaid has like a lobster gauntlet they put on, and they could snap with it like it's an actual lobster or crab gauntlet. Aries may choose shark. A lot of men would choose shark. Not to point fingers at him being a man, but you know what I'm saying. It's a very masculine thing to be a shark. I think that certainly I can imagine many men after watching Shark Week pick and choose to be a shark, thinking that the testosterone, bull sharks especially, you imagine they've got a lot of testosterone, but you don't need that much. Nobody needs that much. Honestly, the only thing that you need in this world is to swim in the ocean with animals. If you can do that, then you're living a good life. If you can hold on to a sea turtle while they swim around and take you for a ride, that's pretty great. Honestly, if I could do that, I think I'd be pretty happy. Scuba diving with a ocean turtle. Would you be a turtle, Playful? Are you a turtle kind of person?
Maybe.
Maybe. That's pretty good. It's almost a yes. I think that turtles have a special power over my brother. He loves turtles. Turtles are his thing. He once visited my aunt. I don't remember her name, but she has a huge, ancient turtle that's over 100 years old. Lovely thing. And he got to hang out with that turtle for a little while. So I imagine mermaids are like, they're more long-lived than humans are, and they age very gracefully too, because they're constantly moisturized by the ocean, constantly moisturized. They have, they're all ripped because they're constantly swimming, and they have that flowing long hair, and they never cut their hair either, so they all have long hair. All mermaids have long hair. No wonder everyone wants to be a mermaid. They're just so gorgeous, all of them. Man, I think if I get to be reincarnated, I might want to see what being a mermaid is like. Being a mermaid. So much to see. So, if you had the choice to go scuba diving, would you do it, Playful?
Probably would, yeah.
Yeah, where would you scuba dive if you had a choice?
I'm not really sure where I would do it.
How about the Bahamas?
I've never really been there.
What about off the coast of Asia? Maybe Mexico. Mexico's a great place to scuba dive, I've heard. I think the thing I would look for is a shallow water where I can just sort of float around and get used to the waters for a little while. And I would love to have an exploration where I see fish, I take pictures of them. Oh, having a camera underwater, that'd be so great.
There actually is such thing as kind of underwater cameras too.
Of course. Not only that, but there is pretty high resolution, high quality pictures you can get with underwater cameras as well. And just imagine the images I could capture. If none of you have seen my dog images, they're pretty good. And I will brag about this. I'm a pretty good photographer. And I think many people who have seen my pictures could tell you that that's true. I'm pretty good at it, in Second Life and in real life. But I like taking pictures of either one, to be honest with you. I think that one day, if I have a girlfriend or partner ever who wants to be a mermaid, I would totally scuba dive with them and take pictures of them being a mermaid. That would be amazing. Man. I hope I can get up to that kind of mischief in the future. But yes, what would be a great sight for you? Would you like to see a pearl at some point? Playful, would a pearl be cool? Finding a pearl in an oyster?
Yeah, it would, actually.
A mother of pearl. I'm not sure why they're called that. But I have mother of pearl keys on the saxophone that I currently need to have fixed. So maybe one day I'll get to use that one again when I can afford to. But mother of pearl, I've never really liked it that much. I mean, it's fine and it has good finger usage, but honestly, I would prefer just a solid gold or brass. Solid gold. No, brass for fingers instead. For keys. But I play the saxophone, and you know, one of my dreams, Playful, is to make a saxophone background music for my stream. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Would be cool.
I would just play for 2 hours straight, and I would have so much extra music to put in that I would just be like... It would just be completely copyright-free background music that I could use whenever I wanted to, wherever I wanted to. Gosh. That sounds amazing. Someday. So Ella, Saxacass. That one took a minute to get through my head, but then when I did, I liked it. Saxicas. Cassophone is a good one too. Tenor cassophone. But Ella, tell us how you're doing. Tell us what's going on with you today. I hope that you're well. So, one great thing about being a mermaid is you can play underwater instruments. Now, I'm not sure how this works, but they can play like a shell or a conch shell or something. They just go, ooh, you know, they play drums. I'm pretty sure drums work underwater, don't they?
I don't know.
I think they do. You have to hit them really hard because you're moving all slow like you're in molasses.
Yeah.
It's like you were never even sick yesterday, but you forgot it's Sunday.
Oops.
Oh,
That's okay, Ella.
it's all right. You made it to the stream at least, so you're somewhat on point. I'm glad that you did. It's always fun to have Ella here. She's one of my favorite audience members.
It's always fun to have both the girls here.
All the girls need to show up. I need to get Y on here as well, but I'm worried she's too old to figure out how to use Twitch. And don't tell her I said that.
I don't even know who you're talking about.
Y
The
is
only girls that I was talking about were the person that's here now and Ginny.
I would like to have Ginny, Ella, you, and Y all in the chat at once. I'm sure you'd be fantastic together. Ginny and Ella have met Y at my birthday party this year, which
Nice.
Y set that up for me without even being asked to. She made me a surprise party. It was so nice. It was so nice.
I actually, just a couple days ago, friends of Rissy
Yeah,
had a birthday party. Because it was her real life birthday a couple days ago.
lovely. It is a great thing to have a surprise party, though I am very easily shocked, as I'm sure you know. When I say, oh my gosh, that's when I'm shocked.
Yeah, that's a clear indication that you're like, huh?
I know, it's very easy to shock me. But I love being surprised in a good way, not in a scared, startled, shocked way that I don't like.
Yeah.
But surprises can be a really good thing. You have to have your head on a swivel for surprises, which I always try to do. Sorry, I'm yawning. I swear I'm not bored. So, we are only 10 followers away from becoming a potential affiliate for signing up for affiliateship. And I'm only saying this because I'm so happy about it, but I think that we're doing a great job. I am very proud of this community and of myself for spreading the word of mouth and for making it all work. And Ella, you're a part of that, so thank you. And thank you everybody else who's watching right now. I've said this before, Ella, but I love you. You're great. And I hope that you know that. Ella is one of my 3 best friends, and I've known her for a while. If I had to pick anybody to be a, like, mermaid, not mermaid friend, mermaid best friend, mermaid companion, she'd be one of my choices for mermaid companion. We'd be mermaid. I'd be a demi-merman, and she'd be a mer-woman, assuming that's what she wants. And we would help animals together and throw our tridents at treasure hunters. I don't know the last part. We'd throw them, but we'd never hit them. We'd just scare them off. Okay, so my scales. I would make my scales gold and red scales, and I would have I would have clam pauldrons, clam armor. My clam armor, my shell armor would be a beautiful, sort of a crimson with black and gold inlays. That's what I would wear. You don't see mermaids wearing armor usually, do you?
Holy no.
I imagine mermaid armor is very pretty though, made out of like all sorts of shells and scales.
I mean, well, I you sort of do, but that's not really the females, it's the male.
You're right. We need to get some female armor. Like split mail. What would you call splint scale mail? It's literally scale mail, isn't it?
Yeah,
Literally. Man, maybe one day we will get to be mermaids, living in Atlantis.
yeah.
I think that this lovely background we have right here is a pretty okay start to an Atlantis. If we can make it here, we can make it all the way there.
Sure, we certainly could.
Maybe you could wear a helmet? Oh my gosh.
Hey, it works.
Oh, well, you got me. You got me with that one. I was
And
like,
me.
I wasn't expecting it. Well, I am quite happy to have as many shell puns as we can manage. Not only that, but I'm happy to have a lot of shell-related paraphernalia as far as mermaids go. Shells are they're about shells. They're all about them. They wear shells in their hair. I bet they have like shell shields, you know, or shells. I don't know how to combine that one. But yes,
Yeah, I don't know how to find that one either.
that's a tough one. Uh,
Yeah.
but I imagine that they harpoon their harpoons have like shell charms on them and tisk tisk. Yeah, I know. I gave it a try, Ella. They can't all be winners. I'll tell you that much. They're not all shellmets. The golden standard has been said. But yes, I really do feel like it's a great thing to have like if every pork chop were perfect, we wouldn't have hot dogs. Oh my
Oh my
gosh,
God.
that's horrible.
Hello.
Oh, that's horrible. uh, I've
For
never.
any newcomers, this is totally just how Ella is. Puns like crazy.
I love
Love
it
it.
though. I love it. Uh, you know just what to say to make me smile, Ella. You know that. So yeah, mermaids. You're punny. It's true, you are punny. Mermaids have a special place in my heart, though. I've always thought they were a little dorky, but just recently I've sort of grown into my love of them a little bit. I have never seen the movie Aquaman, which you would think that movie has mermaids in it. Does it have mermaids in it though? Does it really? I don't know.
I
Check.
don't know.
Aquaman movie mermaid.
I do know who plays in it though.
Jason
Kind
Momoa.
of.
Talking about
Yep.
Jason. Yeah, he's. Are you? I'm getting some static for some reason. Where's the static coming from? One second, let me try this. Let me know if you're hearing that static on your end, because it's very strange. I'm getting some on my end.
Hearing anything besides her voice, but yeah.
Okay, I think my headset might be breaking.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. I know what a time to break it.
not really.
Maybe it's running out of energy or something. Does it need to be charged, maybe?
Yeah, I was just about to say, don't you have one of those chargeable ones?
I've never charged it before. It's been fine for months without having problems.
Dude.
Huh, it's weird. I'll have to look that up a little bit later.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we've been going for about 50 minutes. We're going to go for another 10 minutes, and then we'll be good. This is a weird static problem. Let me know if you can hear it on your end, because it's probably an error of some kind. I don't know what it could be, though. But yeah, mermaids, they're magical. They're very magical. They're like horses. Except underwater, of course.
Yeah.
Mermaids have a special place in everybody's hearts. They have the the charm and the magic and they have it. They have that spark that everyone needs in their lives. And if you, I don't know, if you've seen The Little Mermaid, if you believe in that magic out there, which I do believe in the magic of mermaids, I think one day we'll all get to be mermaids. Though I don't know when that day will come.
I don't really know either. Although
So,
technically we kind of could become mermaids because I know there's like stores all around the world. Pails. So we could become a mermaid that way.
it's true. Give me one moment, folks. I need to reattach my USB stuff. I'll be right back, Playful. Okay, that fixed it. Good. Sorry about that, folks. I had to turn my headset off and back on. You still with me, Playful? Playful? Hello? Hello? What the? Is my microphone on? Hello? Oh, it's not on in Discord is why. Let's see if I can fix that. Hello? Hello?
It worked.
There we go, I fixed it. Yeah, hello, I am
Good.
back. I am Black Playful. So, had to fix that problem, but that's good now. So, one of my favorite things about mermaids is that they're very in tune with nature. I too want to be in tune with nature, close to nature, if you will. That's something I desire. And I think that one day we will get there. We'll figure it out, and we'll get all the stuff concerning undersea travel. We'll get it worked out. But yes, I hope I get to be a ripped merman, even with if I have gray hair someday. That's a good place to be. You know, at the age of 26, I already do have gray hairs.
Oh dear.
It's all right though. Everybody goes gray at some point. My
Yeah. I'm kind of going gray myself too.
That's all
But
right though.
I dye my hair.
I probably will too.
So as my hair is growing, it's showing the roots of the non-colored hair that I have.
I think a little bit of dye is a good thing. And gray is maturing. It's very
very true.
maturing. And I hope I can age with gray hair very gracefully. That's my plan at least.
Yeah, sure.
And alongside other things, I think that changes to diets can affect your hair color as well. And I might make my hair, mine are getting gray at the end, gracefully. I didn't think of that one, Ella. But you got to it just before I did.
Oh,
It's great. It's really great. But yes, I think that we have a huge opportunity to become mermaids in the future. Alright, folks, I think that's going to be it for us. I know I said 10 minutes, but my voice is getting a little tired, actually. I need to go exercise it more these days. But thank you so much for coming. Ella, thank you for being here. Playful, thank you for being my co-host. I'm always glad to have a conversation with you.
we
Thank you very
definitely
much,
have
Ella.
fun.
We do have fun, don't we? You take care too, Ella.
You too, Ella. See you next week.
Well, we've come to the end of our time, folks. And as always, stay safe and take care. We'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.